Now, the other problem is that the original block had cracked. By the time he's done this and he's shown you the cost, as I said, it's not going to be a good time. Mucker, I've been offered a tractor. Is it worth buying? That must be the most often asked question that I ever get. Let's start then with one example, my Super Major. Now, as most of you will know, I bought this at a farm auction in Suffolk. It's had 3 owners from new, and it's still got the original buff logbook. Now, off the top of my head, I think I paid around 2,700 quid for this.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Sorry to interrupt. I think I might have had a little bit too much to drink.
Which is a lot for an unpainted, unrestored Major, considering also that it wasn't a runner. Did I think I could get this unseized and running again? Yeah, basically, I did. It was only when I discovered this that I knew it wasn't going to be the case. Now, the other problem is that the original block had cracked. Not once or twice or even 3 times, but actually 4 times.
Mechanical genius.
And that's when I decided to put in another engine.
All right? Yeah.
It's a slightly later Super Major, still a Super Major engine, but just a slightly later one, which is the better one because it's got the mechanical governor. And I just prefer that pump. They give a little bit more power. But at the end of the day, the reason I bought this tractor, as I said, is because it's had 3 owners from new, and that's it. They're all on the buff logbook. It's got its original number, and it hasn't been touched. I know it's sort of weathered and wherever it's been stood in the side of this old shed, but there's still tons of original features on it. All the badges are present. The main thing is for me, that look at it, there's no rot in this front cowl. See, little things as well. I mean, there's the original sales plate here from Bloomfields and Son. There's that there. Lots of original features, such as the remnants of the original seat, these wonderful Butler lights, and the original sticker for the quality control for the 3-point linkage. The thing is, I always have a budget in mind of what I want to go to, how much I think it's worth to me. As I said, I like this original sort of look.
Oh, would you look at this?
But I do also have an extra budget in mind of, well, at the worst case scenario, if I can't get that engine running,
I need about 350.
I worked all that out, and colleagues of mine that have seen this have said,
Yeah, they haven't got you back in a nut wall again.
yeah, you're still well in because of the condition of it. I mean, it runs like a dream. As soon as you press that lever, it fires straight up. Other people want one that's ready to go so they can take it straight on a road run, or they want a full restoration project that they can tackle. Now, you have to be careful that what you're buying isn't just a really good paint job. You know, they tell you, oh, it's been fully restored, mate. And that's had a 5-litre overhaul.
Wax on, wax off.
Looks nice, but they've done nothing to it. And you're just buying work and trouble. Or there's something like this where they say, we've done a load of work to it, and you can actually see the work has been done, because just like what the Fudweasel has done here, he hasn't painted any of the additional parts that he's put on. All the new parts stand out. And I quite like that. Again, we've kept the original patina. I mean, this one's got a bit of paint on it. Yeah, it's getting, you know, a bit thin in places, but that's what I like about it. We both do, because it does show the age of it. It does show that it has got some history. So, if you find a tractor like this and it's something that you're interested in having a deal on, at least you can see what has and hasn't been done to it. Or you could go to this extreme.
That was fucked.
That was a bit fucked.
Now, something like this may be relatively cheap compared to something like that, which has had time, money and effort put into it. But there's a reason that this is cheap. This is probably a potential money pit. And if you don't have the knowledge and experience, if you don't have the facilities like the shed and all the tools that go with it, you are going to struggle with this, and you're probably just never going to complete it.
He's shit everywhere.
With the Fudweasel, it's just second nature to him. He'll just come in and get on with it as he is doing now. He's stripping it out, and he will do a full nut and bolt rebuild because it's had a fairly hard life. But at the end of it, he's going to end up with an amazing tractor, and he's documenting every penny he spends, and that's going to frighten most of you. By the time he's done this and he's shown you the cost, as I said, it's not going to be a good time. When he actually turned up with this, even I looked at him and asked him what kind of a party it was that he'd been at the night previously. the fucking Catalina wine mixer. But he will complete it because he's got the experience, the know-how, and the facilities.
A lot of people might say I'm stupid. I don't know. I don't think I am. Like, I'm probably smarter than that. I mean, this thing here is smarter than me, I guess, but it has a battery.
Now, you could also pay a lot of money for a nice original example of this Massey 1080. But again, it's going to want money spent on it. He's already starting, you know, air cleaner, exhaust. You can see bits here, look. But these are all bits that you can get, but they're all bits that have got to be bought. Yes, when it's finished, it will be a nice tractor. But it's a long way from that yet, and there's a lot of money to be spent. You don't want to be paying top money for a tractor that needs a load of money spent on it. And nor do you want to be buying somebody else's problems.
Got no time for that crap!
Be very careful with things like that. Quite often you say, well, it's a non-runner. It used to run, but I think all you need to do is just change a switch, or it just needs a little £2 thing off eBay. Bullshit. You don't get the fucking thing off eBay then. You get it all fired up, I'll come back and see you. So in essence, if you're looking for a tractor, whether you want to just do the work on it, and that's where you get your enjoyment, or you're wanting to take one to a road run or something, you know, a working day or something like that, there is a cost. There's a cost to all that. Are you going to buy one that's ready to go, that's on the button where somebody else has spent all the time and money? Obviously the cost is up to start with, but at least you're away. Can you afford to do that? Or do you enjoy doing it? Do you want to get something that's a little bit of a project? Maybe it just needs a few little jobs, a little bit of fettling and fine-tuning, and then you can paint it. But you'll get that tractor cheaper than the one that's already restored. Or do you want one that's going to need a full nut and bolt restoration? No, you don't. All right, so let's start here. Let's start with a budget. And now that's your budget, not your neighbours, not your mates, not somebody you've seen on TV, your budget. What can you sensibly afford? This is the most important thing. Once you've found that figure, go on to number 2. Do your research of the market, right? See what's out there. See what you can afford within your budget. Now that, once you've set that one, it might tell you that actually you cannot afford a field marshal. But you could afford a nice Super Major or a Dexter or a Massey or something like that, all right? So you'll know what your budget will allow you to buy, okay? Now, once you've got that figure, you need to then factor in. It's no good going right to the end of your budget because you're going to need some extra costs on this because you've got your initial purchase of the tractor and you've got your parts and your labour. Now, if you're lucky enough to buy one that's on the button, fully restored, job's a good one, but you're still going to need parts. That's part and parcel of owning an old tractor. And then you've got your labour cost to put all these bits on. Now, I know some of you and most of you will tell, oh, yeah, but I'm doing it as a hobby. I'm not going to pay myself. I know. But there's still time. And time does have a cost.
Oh, my boys, we're at the end of an age.
To do all of this, to get this tractor running and up together, is going to take time, and that is a cost. Is it still within your budget? It brings us straight back to that. This is so important.
Lost all the liquor money, boys. What? It's the way she goes.
Because if you start going over that, then this actual whole nice hobby, this thing that's going to give you joy, starts bringing you pain and just becomes an absolute drain.
Well, I guess we're going the fuck home then.
Number 5, stick to your budget. All right? Don't get carried away. If you've got enough money, once you've done your market research, you've got enough money that you can buy a Super Major, don't go and buy a Field Marshal. If the Super Major's 2.5, 3 grand, don't be looking at £10,000 tractors. No matter how you try and justify it to yourself, stick to your budget. I want you lot to be involved in doing this stuff. You know, and for those of you that, you know, don't have a budget and you cannot afford to do it, then just watch me and the Fudweasel fucking around with our old shite, you know, and seeing us in a world of pain. But for those of you that want to dip your toe in the water, and you know, so many of you do, and say, oh, Muck, I've seen this tractor for sale, but should I buy it? Just stick to those things. Main thing, just keep remembering budget, but can I afford it? Can I afford it? And don't try and convince yourself that, oh, I don't think I'll need a set of tyres. If I was going to start doing road runs with this tractor, right, it would need a set of tyres. They're cracks in them, look, you know. Just see all that, look. And it's no good me saying, well, all right, they hold here, they're all right round the yard and that, they're all right round the yard. Yeah, they're not really good when they sort of just come apart with you on a road run, all right? Don't try and convince yourself that something's going to be all right. Be sensible about it. That's the main thing, muckers. If you want to keep doing this and enjoying it,
I'm drinking wine and eating cheese and catching some rays, you know.
just keep a level head with all this, muckers, honestly, all right? It's meant to be enjoyable. It's not meant to be something that, you know, keeps you awake at night. So don't try and convince yourself something's great when it's not. Looks like it's that time again, muckers. What are you doing? Anyway, until the next one. Do well.